After learning that Manchester United is having problems with signing Mason Mount, personal terms have not been agreed just as it was reported before. The personal terms had been agreed and everything was going on quite well. It happens that Manchester United is way too far from signing Mason Mount, and now MIKEL ARTETA has actually now had his troops to make sure they can definitely talk to Declan Rice and everything goes on quite well. If things go on quite well for Declan Rice and Arsenal, definitely will be going to Arsenal, not Manchester United. Anyway, hello everyone and thank you for being part of the Arsenal chapter, and make your point, subscribe and ring that notification bell so that you do not miss it. Whatever we've definitely got to bring to you, as long as it is sports and as long as it is Arsenal related, right about here at the Arsenal chapter with me, your host Abu Karls, as we talk sports and as we talk everything Arsenal related right about here at the Arsenal chapter. So it will be remembered that the football player we are talking about right about now is one of the best attacking midfielders in the world, and that's none other than Mason Mount. Mason Mount has been heavily linked to the club Arsenal before, but things didn't go on quite well. For some reason, Mason Mount has always wanted to play for Chelsea. He's an academy graduate who's played for Chelsea ever since he was 9 years and graduated into the academy, then definitely went to the main team, and he's had a few loan sessions away from the club Chelsea. But the time for them to leave is definitely right. For him to leave is definitely right about now. With the club Chelsea having said that Todd Bowley, who is the co-owner of Chelsea, saying that he will not be having any football player who has got just 1 year on his contract. He wants to make a clear wipeout, and you already know that he's definitely he has to sell a few football players because financial fair play rules are definitely on him, saying, you know what, you cannot spend more than you earn. So definitely now you already know that Chelsea has quite a big number of football players and they are looking at offloading some of them. And right about now, one of the football players that we are talking about who is set to leave the club Chelsea is Mason Mount. And the fact that MIKEL ARTETA likes the mode of play that Mason Mount holds, that is something that the pair could definitely celebrate about. So, Mason Mount, seeing where Chelsea isn't, because Chelsea has been struggling, Chelsea has struggled quite a lot, and that's one of the big reasons as to why. Arsenal is saying we should use this advantage because it's not been playing very well, and not very many football players will remain at the club because noticing that Chelsea actually ended up mid-table. It got results mid-table, not even number 10, but way down, number 12. Ended number 12 with 44 points. Definitely that means that they're going to have a bit of hard time to sign players this time around because football players want to play Champions League football, so Chelsea's going to have quite a bit of hard time, and the fact that Chelsea, comparing a bit of statistics at points, Chelsea had 44 points, finished the league with 44 points, and Arsenal finished the league with 84 points. So definitely we're going to be seeing quite a lot definitely happening at the club. Arsenal's quite a number of football players are definitely very interested in joining the club Arsenal, and not very many are interested in joining the club Chelsea, because you already know Champions League football matters quite a lot, and something that MIKEL ARTETA secured last season. Anyway, let's see how possible this is definitely is, and we also need to see how good MIKEL ARTETA has improved this club and the signings he's made. He's signed Gabriel Jesus. He's signed Jakub Kiwior. He's signed Alexander Zinchenko. He signed Marquinhos, who is away on loan. is signed quite a big number of football players, and almost all these players that Mikel Arteta has requested from the management to make sure that they can sign them. They've definitely performed quite well, and you can see how Mikel Arteta has improved his game over time. Looking at how Arsenal has performed. Let's take a little bit glance from 2019. So 2019 2020, Arsenal ended in the 8th position, and we need to see season 2020, season 2021. We need also to see the points. How many points did Arsenal end with? 8th position. And so in 2019-2020, Arsenal was in the in the 8th position with Liverpool. In the first position, Liverpool ended with 99 points. That was a massive number of points, Then Arsenal had 56 points, but there was definitely room for change. Anyway, then the next season again, the next season, that was in 2020, season 2021. Arsenal ended with 61 points, and it was still in the 8th position. No Champions League football. Definitely wasn't the best of moments then. Then you can see there has been quite a big improvement in season 2020, season 2021, season 2022. There was quite a big improvement with Arsenal being in the 5th position with 69 points, that was quite good. Manchester City was the first. Excuse me. Manchester City was the first, and they had 93 points, with number 6 being number 5 being Arsenal with 69 points. That definitely shows you that there is always it's been improving over time. And there was no Champions League football because Man City, Spurs, Chelsea, and Liverpool are the ones who qualified for Champions League football. Then looking at the last concluded season 2022 and 2023, Arsenal finished in the 2nd position with 84 points, 38 games played, 84 points, just a slight difference. And when you see, if Arsenal keeps on this rate, and if they sign well, if they sign well this time around, they should be capable. Arsenal should be capable maybe of taking the Premier League title if they definitely get very good football players. I mean, what's happened with Arsenal this time around is quite understandable. I think you can understand it because a club like Manchester City, almost all the football players who are there definitely are very good football players, and they've got quite a big not actually a very big squad, but an effective squad, when you see the football players at Man City, definitely they've got quite a big squad, they've got quality squad, when you see those football players. I mean, like Kevin De Bruyne, very good football player. Phil Foden, who always doesn't start these days, Ruben Diaz, Nathan Ake, there is Rodri, Ike Gundogan, who is linked to the club Arsenal. They're quite a big number. There's Laporte, there's Bernardo Silva, there's Riyad Mahrez, who also not a starter anymore. I mean, when you see the starters and those ones at the bench, definitely you can tell that it's a very good club with quite a big a good squad with quite a good number of football players who know how to play. So when you see all that, definitely Arsenal needs to be in such a position. Arsenal needs to build and also address the problem of depth, and also not only should Arsenal address the problem of depth, but also they should look at improving their squad, selling a few football players and buying football players are more effective. And I mean, towards the end of the season, Arsenal started quite well, but towards the end of the season, it disappointed their fans because they lost a number of games like Southampton. Arsenal shouldn't have lost against Southampton, really. No way. I think also Bournemouth must have been a draw, something like a loss. It wasn't a win for Bournemouth. Then also a draw 2-2 for Liverpool. I mean, Arsenal should have played quite much better. Towards the end, it wasn't the best of times for them. I mean, they had everything. And when you see the clubs that beat Arsenal, definitely not the best of clubs, you know. So maybe Man City, which proved to be a better club by winning almost every other game in the Premier League towards the end. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and definitely see how it goes. But there's been heavily links about Mason Mount and him joining the club Arsenal. That's definitely what we are talking about. Mason Mount and him joining the club Arsenal, there are big chances. It's a very big possibility. As we told you before, that he was heavily linked to the club Manchester United, not Arsenal, and it was reportedly said that personal terms were agreed between Manchester United and Mason Mount's agents, but it comes out that there was a stumbling block. Things didn't go on as planned. You know, things didn't go on as planned for the club, Manchester United, and then for Mason Mount. And looking at how much Mason Mount definitely gets, Mason Mount is one of the football players that gets the least amount of money in Chelsea, getting £80,000, being paid £80,000 per week. For a good attacking midfielder like Mason Mount is a joke in the Premier League. That's definitely a big joke, and I think it's something that they should address. You know, I think that is something that the club Chelsea should have even addressed before. And the fact that they're also seeing if they can try and have him. They can't keep him. To be honest, they can't keep him at that wage rate. £80,000. Definitely that's quite out. With Raheem Sterling earning over £300,000 per week. Definitely Mason Mount not earning a great deal of money. That's what Arsenal is looking at. Arsenal is looking to get him at quite a good number, a good figure, and also pay him quite much better, because £80,000 for Mason Mount. I mean, Arsenal can possibly give him maybe £100,000 per week. That will definitely be a great one. So the fact that he's not going to any European club, he just wants to play Premier League football. The fight is now going to be between a number of clubs, but mainly the fight is going to be between Manchester United and Arsenal. And we'll be seeing also Newcastle United. Newcastle United, I was somewhat linked to this football player, Mason Mount. Mason Mount was linked to Newcastle United, but we could be seeing this not happening because he's sort of pulled out of that. But with the club Arsenal, with the mode of play that Mason Mount has gotten him, MIKEL ARTETA definitely thinks that Mason Mount will be of good help when he joins the club, Arsenal. And when you see how MIKEL ARTETA definitely plays, it also lies in between there. So we need to see. We need to see Mason Mount, the reality, what's going to happen definitely, and what percentage is he going to, what's the percentage of him joining the club Arsenal. So we need to see the style of play that Arsenal plays, and we see why I'm saying that he will definitely get into there. He will be comfortable playing for the club Arsenal. So he uses White, and he's a natural centre back. Ben White is a natural centre back at the right back. Then that means that Arsenal have a player perfectly comfortable for covering on the inside of Saliba. Once he moves out and engages the ball carrier, so Marcel Saliba is a versatile player who supports attacks quite well, but also covers the centre back quite often. And Arsenal is a club, has turned into a club that plays attacking football at its maximum. I mean, Arsenal is a club right about now, whether you're Man City, whether you're Newcastle United, whether you're Southampton, they're not bothered. Arsenal is not bothered. They will just attack you. They want to put on that dominance. Sometimes there is always when you need to have a setback and plan properly, look for a counter attack and stuff. But Arsenal is not about that. It just plays attacking football and scoring whenever they think definitely is the right time. They definitely go for it. So it's not into a defensive mode or quite a calculative one. No, it's about attacking football, and that's something that Mason Mount likes or plays definitely. So that is another thing why we think that's one of the things why we think Mason Mount could definitely be ending up at the club Arsenal. Let's see how all this goes, as personal terms were not agreed with Manchester United by Mason Mount, and he's open to talks from different clubs, and Arsenal is definitely very willing to make sure they can have this gentleman. Otherwise, thank you for being part of the Arsenal chapter, and make it a point to subscribe and ring that notification bell so that you do not miss out on whatever we've definitely got to bring to you, as long as it is sports and as long as it is